Two whistleblowers, both dead. Both had tried to warn the world that the planes people fly on every single day, planes built by Boeing, were not safe. One died from a sudden illness that raised questions. The other was found in his truck with a gunshot wound to his head on the very day he was scheduled to testify. Coincidence? Or is something far darker happening inside one of the most powerful companies in aviation history? Right now, at this exact moment, thousands of Boeing aircraft are in the sky, carrying families, children, entire lives suspended at 35,000 feet. And the people who tried to sound the alarm about serious safety flaws? They were ignored, pressured, pushed to the edge. This isn't rumor. This isn't internet speculation. This comes from court filings, government hearings, official investigations, and it's still unfolding. So ask yourself this: if Boeing knew, and the regulators knew, then who is actually protecting the millions of people who step onto those planes every day? Stay with me, because once you hear this, you won't look at air travel the same way again. To understand how we got here, you have to understand what Boeing used to be. For decades, it was the gold standard, an engineering powerhouse, a company where safety wasn't just a priority, it was everything. But in the 1990s, something shifted. A merger changed the culture. The focus moved away from engineering and toward speed, cost, and shareholder returns. And when engineers raised concerns, they weren't celebrated, they were sidelined. Then came the 737 MAX. And everything that had been buried came back. In 2018, a plane went down shortly after takeoff. Months later, it happened again. Hundreds of people lost their lives. Investigators found a system quietly introduced that could force the plane downward. Pilots weren't properly trained on it. And when it malfunctioned, there was no recovery. But the crashes weren't the end of the story, because inside Boeing, people had already been raising alarms. Employees with decades of experience, people who knew the systems, people who tried to speak up. Many of them say they faced pressure, retaliation, isolation, and some never got the chance to fully tell their stories. And here's where it becomes even more unsettling. Despite everything, the crashes, the investigations, the warnings, accountability has been complicated. Regulators relied heavily on the company itself. Oversight blurred into delegation. The system that was supposed to catch problems was, in some cases, depending on the very company it was meant to oversee. But behind all of this, beyond the reports and legal language, are real people. Families who lost loved ones. Voices that were never heard. Warnings that came too late or were never acted on. And it raises a difficult question. When systems fail, not just machines, but institutions, who pays the price? Reforms have been promised. Investigations have been launched. Changes have been announced. But even official reviews have pointed to gaps between leadership and workers, between policy and reality. The question is whether those gaps have truly been closed or simply managed. And here's the part that matters most. Boeing isn't just any company. It's deeply embedded in global aviation, in national defense, in everyday travel. Walking away isn't simple, which means the responsibility to get it right is enormous. So the next time you board a plane, take a moment, not to panic, but to think about the systems behind the scenes, about the people who build them, and about the voices that tried to speak up. Because this story isn't just about what happened, it's about what happens next.